Hi there guys, Efocutioner here, and I'm making a video even though we're on Christmas break. That doesn't mean that the Chronicles of Gamers stopped. Still got some videos to talk about, and to be honest, I wanted to talk about this since my mother-in-law asked me for help and my nephew asked me for help to find this, and that's the classic Nintendo NES Mini. This is ridiculous. I wow, like this device is doing amazing. 196,000 units sold as of November. So it's unclear how many they sold in December, but we know that they keep releasing more. And even though the console is like $60 on Amazon and eBay, people are selling it for $200 to $300, and this is ridiculous. I was like, wow, man, like I could not see myself wanting this thing. But I got my nephew, and then I got like a few other cousins, and there are other people that are just like super excited for this thing. And I'm just like, it's a mini console. But it had me thinking though, because with the family and stuff like that, they kind of brought up this interesting point, and that you can literally plug this in and play 30 games for $60. And I thought to myself, like, wow, that's an interesting concept, because if we know back in the 90s and the semi-early 2000s, there was like a bunch of these little plug-and-play mini consoles that used to be around, and it's ridiculous that right now this Nintendo like NES Classic is just doing so well. But then it got me thinking, because you can just plug it in and play, maybe this is like a great way to get people who are interested in gaming but they don't feel like paying $300 to $400 for a console and not knowing which console to buy. Maybe this is a great way to introduce people to the gaming world. And then the best thing about it is, like, I could see other companies doing this. So like for Nintendo, we know they have Legend of Zelda on there, right? And lo and behold, the Nintendo Switch will have the new Legend of Zelda game as well. So it's like, this would be a great way for those who've never played the Legend of Zelda to be like, oh, this is really fun. I'm curious and I would like to play more Zelda games. And then that can get people interested in buying the Nintendo Switch to play that. And then at the same time, this could be a great way to say, like, what if Nintendo re-releases like a GameCube Mini, and it has all the best GameCube games on there. So you can play Super Smash Brothers, you can probably play the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker on there. You can play Star Fox on there. Or, if Nintendo really wanted to, with the success of the NES Classic, they could probably do like a Nintendo 64 Mini, or even Sony. Since Parappa the Rappa has been announced and Crash Bandicoot, you can make like a nice little PlayStation 1 Mini, and then you can put those games on there, and then people can pay $60 to buy that little classic, and then out of nowhere, poof, they're like super excited, being like, oh man, this game was fun, or those games were fun. And then lo and behold, any game that you have on the PS1 Classic could already be it's already released, or it's about to be released on the PS4. And this can get people interested in being like, since I'm so interested in the PlayStation, maybe I might go get a PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation 4 Neo to play these games as well. So it's just an interesting idea. Of course, we know other companies have done this as well. Sega also has its own little Sega Classic. But in terms of like name recognition, people really know Nintendo, and Nintendo's kind of like the big giant compared to those two. But maybe if Sega were to make a Sega Dreamcast Mini, and you have like mini Sonic Adventure and Crazy Taxi, maybe that might get people interested. But there's actually another company that's doing something similar to what the NES Classic is doing, and that's the Toyota. The company is actually making its own little mini consoles, sort of like the NES Classic that I actually found about, and it's called the Retro Engine Sigma, and it's supposed to have like all these different like console emulators on this little mini device. Like, it'll have the Atari 2600, the Atari 7800, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color games, Game Gear games, Nintendo 64, Nintendo, Neo Geo Pocket, Neo Geo Pocket Color, PlayStation, the SG-1000, the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo, the 32X Sega, the Sega CD, Genesis, Sega Master System, Sinclair. There's so many different others. Like, I'll put it down in the description, but this is on Indiegogo, and right now, like a lot of people have really been supporting this thing. But unfortunately, you'll have to wait till next year in order for you to get the device. But like I said, it'll be on the show notes below. But it was just an interesting idea, and one thing that the Retro Engine Sigma is doing is they're having a store where you could, they'll come with the games that are included on the device, but then they'll also have a store up, and if you go to the store, you can actually buy certain games and you can just put it on your mini console. Like, you can put it in the Retro Engine Sigma, and then you can be able to replace it as well. So if you want, you can plug it into your computer, take a game out, put it on your computer, like on your hard drive, and then you can just go online, buy a certain game, install it on there, and it's yours. And then you can just keep replacing the games for each of the different consoles. And I figure maybe when Nintendo does re-release this thing, and since the NES Classic is doing so well, maybe they can make a little mini store, and instead of 30 games, they can release their whole entire Nintendo, Super Nintendo games, and you can just put on the the NES Classic. And then, or maybe if PlayStation were to do that, they can make a store, and instead of the 30 games that might be installed with it, or whatever amount of games that they'll have installed with it, maybe you can just go to the store and just quickly replace stuff. I don't know. These are the ideas I have. I like the NES Classic. I think it's great. I definitely would not pay more than $60 for it, but it's just interesting that now this could spark something new. This could spark a revolution. Maybe other companies could think about it like that. Maybe Xbox could release an Xbox Classic, where it's a mini old school Xbox, and you can play certain Xbox games like Halo 1 and Halo 2. Just an idea I had. Man, I am, as much as I don't see the appeal for it, but I find it interesting that people are really excited about the NES Classic just because you can plug it in and play, not have to worry about updates or anything. But maybe now this can be a company's great way of being all right, we figured out how we can appease people who are interested in gaming but don't want to invest $300 or $400 on a console. Maybe this is a great way to get them in, have them try these little classic games, and if they really enjoy it, maybe they can go out, buy a console, and play those games that we have on the PS4, the Xbox One, or the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, that's just an idea I had. Let me know what you guys think about the idea. Comment below. Let me know if this idea is crazy. Maybe this could be the start of a revolution. It's sad that people are actually thinking this way. Hey, I just want to be able to play a game and it just work, and not have to install a 10 gig patch or pay $400, because that's what I got. But what's weird is people are willing to pay $300 for this NES Classic. Anyway, guys, thank you for enjoying the video. Thank you for hearing me ramble. Don't worry, the Chronicles of Gamers will return. Stay lit, folks.